Well, hey there, guys. It is crazy for me to announce right now that we are reviewing Season 2, Chapter 300 of Tower of God. I mean, I already said it last week, but there are so many chapters and still so many chapters left to, keep the series going. I mean, it's a long way from being over, but, it's just crazy having to say 300 right now. Really just trips me up a little bit. But anyway, I will admit I had to read through this chapter twice because I got a little bit confused at the part where Urek and BB3, or Big Breeder 3, kind of interchange what they're talking about. So after a second reading, I then was able to pinpoint like who was saying what and all that stuff. But anyway, it was a good chapter, and I am very excited to review it and reveal some of the thoughts that I had along the way. So we'll kind of treat this as a little bit of a live read. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. Because this chapter felt really long. I just kept scrolling, and I'm like, this is like endless. But there was a lot of information that SIU was providing us with. So I think that's why it felt a little bit longer than usual. So anyway, we start off with the usual recap. And we have Urek announcing to both Team White and Team Kuhn that they will have to work together to acquire the scale so then they can destroy it. So then, Kuhn's like confused, and he's like, what do you mean? We're going to destroy the scale? And Urek says, you guys will lure the scale here, and I'll destroy it. And so that's why he needs them to acquire the scale for him. It's not something that he's able to do, which I guess will be explained later on. I still need to kind of make that connect. But like I said, there's a lot of information that we get, and I will gladly be reading that. So that's why I'm making this a live read today. Anyway, it's so funny because Urek says, by the way, you guys must have seen Urek on the outside, huh? I'm impressed that some small-time regulars like you met Urek. And so then it's really funny because Coffee Addict and Kuhn are whispering to themselves. So Coffee Addict starts, really? That guy is Urek Mazino? And Kuhn's like, yeah, that's him. We've met him before. And back to Coffee Addict, I'm a bit surprised. I thought he would look like a real pervert, but he's surprisingly... And this starts to, irritate Urek, which is really funny. But there is more. So BB3 interjects, and he says, he's not Urek Mazino. He's the data of the sworn enemy that he, Urek, left behind. And so Kuhn's like, what? And then BB3 continues, but he ended up being very unstable because he wasn't copied completely. So that would, make sense as to why he has the error signs and as to why he has that bruise on his right eye. Do I have it? Yes. Okay. I had it right. Anyway, continuing on. Urek Mazino. There weren't really any problems here until he got here. So this is going to be BB3 now. We're delving into that story that I was telling you about. So continuing on. It was an artificial system where I left the other mirror in what you guys refer to as the hidden floor, and was in charge of controlling this hidden floor, and I never once questioned my existence. Here in this place that never changes, my role was to send the heroes who sometimes came here on predetermined quests, as well as to manage this changeless place. But everything started changing when he got here. When he first came here, he was so powerful that even I was nervous. But he wasn't very interested in this virtual world. So he said he wouldn't cause any major problems if I just let him clear the hidden stage. I let him clear the hidden stage, and he got right up to the final stage without causing any problems. But a problem occurred in the process of him saving his clear data. He was furious when he found out that his clear data would remain unstable. Even in a virtual space, he couldn't accept the fact that an improperly formed copy of himself would be left behind. So, as soon as he saved his data, he smashed the mirror and left. The mirror at the end was smashed to pieces, and the effect of that swept across the entire hidden stage. So I'm going to pause right there for a quick moment because I do want to point out, I believe that the mirror fragment that BB3 has could potentially be from this mirror that Urek broke. Even though we did see that mirror, that one mirror in a previous chapter, it wasn't as broken as the mirror that we're seeing here, but maybe it got pieced together because it does look like the exact same, I believe. But yeah, whether this mirror got put back together and he just kept a fragment of it, or whether it was a completely different one. I mean, it's interesting. But I mean, if these mirrors are different, then it would be useful to have two different fragments. Because I know later on he's going to talk about, kind of putting one mirror to look into another mirror. So anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself and spoil it, but we'll touch base on this again a little bit later. Also, what I wanted to point out about Urek breaking this mirror, why would his data be unstable? I understand that, he's a powerful dude, so maybe it was just too much for this hidden floor to handle, and like they couldn't make a proper copy of him. But then again, you look at Zahard, I mean, his data is probably just as powerful, so why isn't something unstable there? Then again, Zahard, I guess, rules this hidden floor, or the young date of Zahard rules it, so maybe he found a way to not let that happen to him, but I don't know. There's still a kind of mystery to that, so we'll see what happens later on. Anyway, continuing with BB3 here. A temporary error occurred in me and all of the other data people, and even the sworn enemy who should have disappeared when he left ended up remaining here in an unstable form. Then a massive bug room was formed, which refers to the entire territory of the mirrors. I opened the gate and started putting all of the data with errors in them in the bug room. I thought that was the only way to stop this hidden stage from collapsing. But I gradually came to realize that something about me had also changed since that error. At a certain point, I started taking an interest in the data on the outside and created a more and more human-like doll, and often stood before the data people. Then I ended up meeting a person who would later be referred to as my mother. Although it ended tragically, after that I had no choice but to acknowledge that I had malfunctioned. Alright, so I'm going to pause there for a second again. So, this mother figure of his looks a lot like Bomb's physique, and really Bomb's physique as in Viol, because of the long brunette hair. So this has got to be Arlen that BB3 is talking about. I think we may have seen a similar image to this before, so it's really nothing new, I guess. But anyway, we will continue on here with BB3. So let me recap again. After that, I had no choice but to acknowledge that I had malfunctioned. It was as if I had become more human. And so Coffee Addict is getting thoughts in his head, and he's thinking, whatever he's saying sounds like he's talking about Battis. So, from my understanding now, see, I didn't understand this when I was reading it the first two times, but now that I'm doing the review right now, I guess, yeah, the doll kind of has a similar look to Battis. And, I mean, he did stand up before the data people. He would defend some of the innocent people and would stand against, like Chung, Big Breeder 1, right? So that would make sense. But it's interesting, too, because I kind of drew the comparison that Battis and BB3 had similarities because they both felt human even though they're not. So that's where I drew the line, but now I see what Coffee Addict was taking from what BB3 was saying. All right, so continuing with BB3 again. Ultimately, after losing the being known as my mother, I felt disillusioned with this entire system, and as I gazed at the mirror at the end, in the bug room, I arrived at a single thought. I'm getting out of here. What? This is Kuhn now. Getting out? But you're Data. BB3 says, that's right, I'm Data without a real body, but right now you guys are also Data. You guys aren't in the space known as the train. If it's possible for humans to turn into Data, then conversely, should it not naturally be possible for Data to turn into humans? The scale of the past, which appeared here, after the mirror's territory was split in two. Floating around in a third space, that scale analyzes the people who come here, turns them into Data, and creates sworn enemies based on that data. That means that mirror must have some kind of analytical transformation ability, which turns people into Data, right? I'm trying to use that mirror in the opposite way. After looking in the mirror torn off the scale and finding some kind of code that will turn me into a human, I'll show that code reflected in the scale's mirror to the mirror at the end and escape to the outside. So this is what I was talking about earlier, how he's going to utilize these three mirrors to, turn himself into a human to then thus escape this hidden floor and make it out into the real world. So that's why I was saying, okay, maybe the fragment that he had could be potentially from this broken mirror that or from this mirror that Urek broke, right? But then there was also that mirror that we saw in a recent chapter, but the mirror wasn't as wrecked up, let's say. All right, and BB3 continues with his final thought here. If it works, I'll become a human being and be able to leave, which then Kuhn says, that sounds absurd. And then BB3 picks this up again. I don't care what you say, I'm going to try it. So then Urek steps in, he says, anyway, so that guy's trying to destroy the scale for that reason, and I just don't like being in this form. I may be his sworn enemy, but I agree with Mazino's idea that he must remain in a perfect form. I'm going to destroy the scale and use the mirror torn off it to erase myself from this place. Urek Mazino shouldn't look like this. He's the strongest person here, aside from Zahard and Edwan. If you guys can just lure the scale outside this bug room, he'll be able to destroy the scale. I see. So this is Kuhn. Oh, okay, wait. I should have specified. So when I read he's the strongest person here, that was BB3 talking. And now we're with Kuhn. So Kuhn's saying, I see. It's a ridiculous story, but now I understand why you two ended up working together. But why are you here with them? Why are you with White? So now he's confronting Rachel, which Rachel isn't saying anything, can't talk. But BB3 steps in. She's one of the heroes who came in here with you. Kuhn's like, what? BB3 continues, I don't know how she managed to do it, but she went to the place where the big breeder's real body is, made a deal with him, and came back to this place. Then one of your companions was taken hostage, so she agreed to cooperate with me. I think her name was Rachel, right? What? Rachel? So that's Kuhn reacting. Andrasi has her own reaction, but she's more quiet about it. And then Kuhn's like, then why did you help us? Rachel still chooses to stay quiet. Anyway, BB3 picks up again. Just so you know, I'm also holding your companions who are completing the quest hostage. If you want to save them, accept our proposal. Helping us won't do any harm to you guys anyway. Now, I can't remember if it was Phenom Uprising or who it was that commented. I believe it was Phenom Uprising. Not Badis. My gosh. It's been a while since we've seen them, so I'm spazzing on their names right now. Freaking Boro and Sachi and them. They are safe, obviously. BB3 has them imprisoned. And so it's kind of a way to lure Kuhn's team as well as White's team to join this whole quest, I guess, of locating that, or drawing in that scale so then Urek can destroy it. And BB3 continues on to ask, you guys need that mirror too, don't you? And so Kuhn's like, And then Urek, it's so funny, because even the young Data calls everyone that's younger than him babies. Because here he says, so babies. Would you mind going and getting the scale for me now? It's not about your companions. I mean, before you guys get crushed. And this feds up Rock, so he's like, are you threatening us? Probably in his thoughts, though. I don't think he asks it aloud. So then they're walking through this hallway. There's like a lot of things floating by them. It's really weird. So this kind of looks like a brick here with Andrasi, a fork with candy, and then a lipstick that's kind of aiming at Rock's head. Maybe it even hit, yeah, it does hit him. It's really funny. Poor Rock. But he's the comedic relief of Tog, so, or of Tower Gods, so, you know, it kind of has to happen to him. So anyway, Kuhn asks, what is this place? BB3 says, as I said, it's the bug room. It's like a black hole formed in the space between the mirrors. Not even Lord Zahard can monitor this place. It sure is a mysterious place. That's Kuhn. And then someone asks, I'm not sure who, what the hell is this place? They've reached the hidden floor, and I'm pretty sure that's BB3 saying that. As you know, or as you guys know, the big breeders' real bodies are here. Only Lord Zahard and the big breeders live here. Lord Zahard deleted all of the previous data instead of moving it here. The buildings are empty and only illusions float around for show. The place where the other big breeders and I live is an isolated space from which we can never escape. They're just disposable anyway, so I reset their memories at regular intervals and bring in new data if they malfunction. Even the big breeders who think they were chosen. and the previous data have all been deceived by Lord Zahard. So, Coffee Addict thinks to himself, so that's what this is. And BB3 continues, now you guys are going to pass through the bug room into the third space and leer the scale. The scale will realize that something is wrong and come after you guys. Then I'll open a gate leading to that space. The scale will realize that an unfamiliar space has appeared and go nuts trying to copy that place and adjust the balance. Then, that space and the scale will both temporarily start being sucked into the bug room. And then Urek interjects here, and when that thing enters the bug room, I'll destroy the scale. And then BB3. If everything succeeds, I'll stick in this piece of the mirror at the end, which will achieve the goal of me and the sworn enemy, while simultaneously allowing us to escape from here with you guys. I can't go to the place where the scale is, plus I have to open the gate, so you guys have to lure the scale for us. Who wants to go? Around 4 people should be enough. And then I'm pretty sure that it is Kuhn and Rachel, because those are the last 2 people we see, and only 2 people have spoken up so far. But one of them says, I'll go, me too. I'm really hoping that Andrasi will be one of the 4 that goes with them, if 4 end up going. But anyway, we're back with Zahard and Bomb. Zahard ends up breaking the first core, or destroying it, I should say. And then, he's kind of looking around the battlegrounds, and he's like, has that kid given up already? I don't hear a thing. But sure enough, there's an attack coming from behind Zahard. Zahard evades it, of course. We can't see where Bomb is, and right about now, yep, Zahard says, is he able to control this much Shinzu at once from a place that I can't even see? And then there's an attack coming from the front. So then, of course, Zahard activates his own attack to block that off. And then he notices that Bomb is using a Shinzu black hole sphere, throws in a more powerful attack to kind of dissuade that one. And then he finally does see Bomb in front of him holding a sphere with a very interesting color. It almost looks very solar-ish. And then this is where the chapter ends here with Zahard saying, I see. So are we really getting started now? Oh, and I love the thorn behind him too. Like it has more of an orangish color. I think we're more used to seeing it red. And then it also has like a little bit of like electrical blue surrounding it as well. So I'm really excited to see what Bomb has up his sleeve now, because it's pretty clear that this is something different, something new, and hopefully something powerful enough to let him, hold his ground while he fights off Zahard, and hopefully he'll get to destroy the next core, because that will be worrisome if he doesn't. But, we'll see how this goes. It's only intensifying more and more, and I'm looking forward to what SIU has in mind. So that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. I know this was a long review because this was a longer chapter. Maybe I shouldn't have live read all of it, but it's fun. I like doing the voices, so they weren't really that different today, but it's all good. I will continue practicing. But that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, please feel free to leave comments below, theories, and, reach out to me on social media. Follow me there. Subscribe if you haven't already to my YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in week after week. And I hope you guys have an excellent week on that note. So I will catch you guys next time. Peace.